Welcome to the AIBC Hack by Playnance, hosted by Blockcheck and CrowdHack. Today, we have the pleasure to have with us Sergey. Sergey, thank you so much for joining. You're going to help us with all of our dumb questions about launching a project in Web3. So yeah, the floor is yours.
Okay, cool. I will share the screen straight away because I have all the intro and other stuff here. So just let me know if you can see it fine.
Yeah, we can see perfectly.
Okay, cool. So yeah, today I will give you a small, speech regarding dumb questions, but actually I do not like, I do want to emphasize that there are no dumb questions, to be honest, about any topic. And today we will not use this word dumb, but just any questions that we have about launching a project in Web3. We're gonna, discuss the most popular one that I got in my experience and that we usually have from projects that just, starting their way. For some of you, it might be reasonable to hear them. For some of you, it might be just an additional knowledge because all of you are mature folks. But yeah, in the end, we will have a chance just to chit chat and discuss any questions that you might have. So yeah, and let's start. Quick intro about myself. My name is Sergey. I'm the co-founder of Open Builders and Tonstarter. And here's my socials. Let me just quickly intro you what is Open Builders. So initially we were launching a launchpad which is called Tonstarter. This was one of the first launchpads and the first actual launchpad in Ton network. To the open network, and after a while we decided that we have a bit more activities than just a launchpad, so we wide up our name into Open Builders, and right now we possess ourselves as a gateway to the open network. So what we do, we not just launching projects with IDEO, but we saw that we also help different builders on any stages to launch their ideas and convert them into projects, to find investments, to kind of assess them from technology side, from tokenomics side, and so on. We also recently launched Open Rating project, which provide unbiased reports around projects that we have in the open network. And we truly believe that we will convert it into a DAO one day, but right now it's just, easy peasy version. And we also onboard people to the Web3 through our Learn bot, which provide you, basic knowledge about what is crypto, what is Web3, what are the tokens and other stuff. And this is basically wrap up of about, what Open Builders is. And quick intro about what is Ton, because many of you could ask why you're not building something on top of Ethereum or any other blockchain, or even why you do not launch your personal L2 network. There are three main reasons for me personally why I do love Ton. First of all, this is really a young blockchain. It was launched in 2019. Later on, it was freezed, and later on, it was relaunched again by Ton Foundation together with builders around the world, kind of open source project. So because of that, there are massive opportunities what you can launch in Ton, because there are not so many projects at the moment. We have a lot of gaps and room for improvement. So yeah, this is truly kind of unique situation. And on top of that, we have an outstanding architecture. This is quick recap on what does it mean. It's just different block time from other chains that we know. So this is comparison with the most popular one. Really performative transaction speed, and together with unbeatable sharding support, together with cross-shard communications, which is near instant. It provides, quite a big potential to create not one more, but one of the first decentralized intranets. But this is just another story. And the last thing is that this network is respected by some cool folks like Telegram, Orbs, and many others. And just to give you a glance experience of what I mean here is that you could check just this application, which is Wallet. It is purely integrated into Telegram, and it works quite fast and intuitive, which provide completely different experience of what we know, of how we know wallets nowadays. I would not compare it with the popular one. You all know them, but yeah, this is quite an example of what we built here in Ton. Okay, so intro is over. Just 5 minutes to go on to questions. We're gonna cover just 4 of them. The first one would be, let's say you have an idea and you are looking for the money to develop it, pretty common case. The next one is that when you are lucky one, you have an idea and money together, but you lack of experience. The third one would be when you have nothing and only passion. Is that enough? Spoiler, yes. The last one would be around tokenomics, just because there are so many questions about tokenomics and why it's so important, so we will cover up it quickly. So question number 1, I have an idea where I can get money to launch my project. So first of all, you could find an investor and share with them part of your company or part of tokens you have. This is kind of straightforward solution that most of the builders follow. And to be honest, it's even it's straightforward, it is not so clear of how to do this. So how you could find investor? Usually people find investors through the different events like hackathons, like conferences, like just reach your friend who is aware about some VCs and angels. So this is basically it. You could definitely find someone like an incubator where you could start your project together with incubator, but this is not the easiest way. So basically you could search for an investor in any event that you publicly have near to you. At the same time, you definitely need to search through your communication list or friends list and ask for any advice that your friends or peers could give to you about any VCs or angels they might know. Even if there will be not your investor, you will definitely find one in several touches. The next the next option you have is join incubator. As I said, incubator is easily to join just because they have concrete list of actions you need to follow. They just give you this list of actions usually, or different, let's say, surveys. You fill it out, and if you match their expectations, you will just join, and they will follow you through all of the, let's say, roller coaster of startup. This is more easier to find an incubator and go through all of the hills together with them, just because this is, let's say, out of the box solution, and you do not need to worry about so many things. So this is option B. Option C is like you could ask for a grant. Typically, or usually, foundation in different networks have certain resources where they put some grants and describe how you can get them. For example, in Ton, we have a dedicated website related to grants, and you could just open up, see what are the requirements and what are, let's say, active problems that where they could suggest you a grant and apply for it. If your product will be as qualitative as they need, you will definitely get a grant. Here are some links to Ton, and this is just, for example, I am giving examples around Ton just because. Oh, let me share my Google. Yeah, here it is. I just sharing about the Ton because I know it better than other blockchains. So you can see that, several, let's say, points that you should have, areas of interest where we have open problems, and just simple button to submit where you could fill out the form and get your fund if you deserve it. Getting back to slides. I'll show you the whole screen. Would be easier. And the last thing, the last option you might have is just take out money from your savings jar. And this is the easiest option, actually. If you have some, you could just take it from there. Next question is, when you have an idea and you have money, but you have lack of expertise. First of all, you're the lucky one. And if you have lack of expertise, you definitely need to find someone who have it. First option that you have is a co-founder. You could find some marketing or technology guy or smart contracts guy or a girl, whoever, and just convince them. Just validate do they have the same passion that you have, and share your idea. And if you have a match, let's say, you could just start together to do some great stuff. The next option you might have is, again, incubators or investors. They usually could give you a certain area of expertise because they have lots of, let's say, experts, people in-house that have expertise in almost all of the things. But the one point here is that you need to consider is that their capacity are limited. So you need to kind of be thoughtful in terms of which experts and which expertise you're missing, and ask only for those that are really critical for you. Next thing is you just could use advisors. They usually kind of cover a certain area of expertise. So whenever you gonna go into any area of business, you will definitely have some gaps. So and not just incubators or investors or co-founders could cover it, but also you hire people to cover those gaps, or you could suggest someone to create a kind of partnership to fill those gaps that you have. So basically, most of the startups, and not just startups, but actually early stage projects, they definitely have an advisor. And this advisor usually cover those, let's say, tokenomics questions or relations questions or any business advisor questions, general, I mean, like, yeah, this is basically one of the most, let's say, fulfilling option that you might have here. And of course, you could join the community just by your own and learn everything from scratch. Again, giving an example around Ton. So let's say you have everything you need to launch a business, but you have some gap in terms of I don't know, smart contracts development, or maybe some you need to make some API requests to the blockchain, for example, to get some data. So you definitely could go to the community and find all at once and try to do it yourself. This is definitely one of the toughest way, I would say, but this is fun. And if you're really interested into, building something from scratch, you definitely have to try this option. But you have to be really careful, because it might take you much longer time than other options. And let's say you just have nothing, only passion, and you're truly curious about is that enough? Short answer is yes, this is absolutely enough. What options you might have? You could outline a plan and describe how you would run the business. It's basically will help to understand you, first of all, yourself, and validate the idea. And it will also allow you to simply present this idea to anyone, because when you have a kind of mess in your head and just different ideas at the same time, usually I meet people who have so many ideas they could never, put it into one list. But whenever you have a really juicy idea, just put this one into the list or mind map, or whenever you like to describe an ideas, or napkin, and describe this in simple words. This will allow you to clarify the things that you might need in near future for yourself, and will also help to explain this to others. You definitely, after that, or together with that, need to find trustworthy partner, and you could create this plan together with this partner, or continue to create this plan together. So your passion definitely will bring you to some cool solution that you will have to build. But before that, again, you need to find someone who you would like to build with. There are so many, by the way, projects that were built by a single person, and they are really kind of successful, I would say, and truly outstanding. But this is just smaller percent of the projects that I saw, comparing them with projects that were launched by the, let's say, 5 or 10 people by the team. So you could try to build yourself, but definitely it would be easier to find someone who you could build together. Or you could just join a team, find someone who shares your passion and values, and validate it through the bunch of interviews, or just choose any project you like and find open jobs they have, and just join a team. Or one option actually that you have is just go to open source. I have really juicy example here that we have in Ton, which is called Ton Footsteps. There are several, this is basic, GitHub repo, several issues, and each issue is something that needs to be done. So here we have a certain template of how to describe this one. So we have summary, context, and so on, so on, so on. And after all, we have a certain how to name it, certain incentive that this person will be given for achieving this result. After all, we have certain discussion, process of approve, and main thing to note here is that everything that built in terms of footsteps is open source. So we have certain fund of Ton Foundation, which is dedicated to open source initiatives, and Ton Footsteps is one of the things that regulates, that helps, to spread this fund equally between those who brings real value to the network. So this is just one of the examples. I truly believe that there are so many chains and so many initiatives that needs to be developed. You just need to find them out and join them to build. Yeah, this is it. The last thing that we have here is tokenomics, and ChatGPT explains it like in a nutshell, like a special piggy bank full of digital coins that you can use to buy things or do stuff in a special place called a blockchain. This is, in a nutshell, it's definitely like that. What tokenomics help us to do? Tokenomics is actually explains the way how your tokens are operated. And besides that, ChatGPT said here, it also, I'm sorry, I'm lost in animation. Besides that, it helps to clarify the number of tokens, how much tokens we have in total, and how much token dedicated to different purposes, and how they will be used. At the same time, we could say that tokenomics is kind of design of your token system. So here is again an example to understand it more clearly. One project that we launched on Tonstarter called Fancy, and we have a Fancy tokenomics here, which is shows us that we have certain parts of it dedicated to different people and different teams, We have different periods when those parts will be unlocked or locked. And this is basically in one picture, which shows how the whole economy of the product works. So this is basic example. And it also works to keep the interest of token holders. Basically, tokenomics is a main explanation to potential investors and potential users that this is not just another shitty coin. And finally, it definitely prevents negative outcomes. As I mentioned previously on 𝐉𝐴𝐬𝐬, we have certain periods of lockups or vesting, which definitely prevent from, cashing out the whole amount of tokens and, go to Bahamas. That's basically it that I have. I've tried to be as short as I can, but definitely not the best. If you have any questions, someone who is attending here, feel free to ask. Yeah, I see the question in the chat. Will I share the presentation Telegram channel? For sure, I will share it because it has some important links I would like you to follow.
I have a question. Yeah.
Sure.
I have a question regarding the incubator. So how do you choose incubator? Because there are so many possibilities. Do you have any tips on how to find the best?
That's a good one. That's a good one. To be honest, I can't remember any, like a centralized source of incubators that we have. Usually, you see them by their activity in, offline events or, Twitter or whenever you could find them. But usually, if you are, let's say, really. It depends from what you're trying to launch, right? If you're trying to launch something, whatever you would like to launch, but you definitely want to launch it in, let's say, in blockchain, in certain blockchain, you will go and find out what this blockchain could offer, right? If you're trying to launch something, let's say, in logistics field, you will definitely go into this area and find VCs or incubators around those fields. But definitely know about, big incubators from United States. You all know their names, but there are, besides that, there are so many, teams and let's say teams of investors, right, who are looking for the projects and they publish it. I think in most cases I found it in LinkedIn, but truly I need to search. Maybe I have some links saved in my notes that are dedicated to some source of different incubators. So summarizing, I will go to LinkedIn, I will go to a certain area where I would like to build something, let's say website of Ton, whatever, and then find the incubators that are open there. Or I will go and ask my peers, do they know any, quality of incubators where we can launch?
Thank you. Any other question? Don't be shy, guys.
Yeah, but I have also one question. Right now, do you see that retail investors that used to participate in launchpads, they still have interest in participating, or you consider them that they have definitely slowed down and there's no interest in participation from retail investors?
Yeah. Awesome question, actually. To be honest, yeah, we definitely see the lower interest in launchpads, just because, as far as we can remember, there was about 2 years of a bull run market when you could launch basically anything and it will give, huge interest from people. And we can name it like, like warm era of launchpads, where was so many launchpads and so many projects give those access and so on and so on. But seems like this, period just went down, and it is clear why. To be honest, in my opinion, this is just because when you try to launch anything, you need to not follow the access. I mean, like the amount that you will have after the launch, the amount that you increase after the launch in terms of tokens. But we go into more conscious investments when people not just thinking about access, but they also think about long term. They also think about utility. They also think about blockchain where it's launching. So yeah, definitely the trend is down right now, and I don't truly believe that we will ever see the same that we have in 2019, 2020, 2021. And from my personal observation, those launchpads that I were following, 99% of those launchpads that I was following are now closed or not launching anything and just freezed. So I think this is pretty clear. And I think launchpads would be changed by something that will bring more conscious investments, and who knows what it will be.
Yeah, I get it. I believe there is also one more question here in the chat from Jaden. If I believe he doesn't understand the difference between accelerator, incubator, and launchpads.
Okay, so to be honest, I don't know either the difference between accelerator and incubator. In most cases, this is just naming, in my opinion. But basically, as far as I saw,
I believe incubator is for more early stage startups, and accelerator for projects that maybe they have some shape and they are looking to grow.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, this is what I was intended to say, that in most cases, incubator is usually launching the early stage, or when you have just an idea and nothing else, and the accelerator is just helping you when you're already in the middle of something. But usually, they mix those experience in one companies, usually, but sometimes, they are dedicated to only one stage. And Launchpad is something that helps you to run an IDO, to make the initial DEX offering for your token. What it means is that token was never published before. You're just launching your company and you're already ready to allocate those tokens to investors. So you come to the Launchpad, they have a community, they have people, they have retail investors that you have not access to. And this is the main resource of the Launchpad. And they have expertise how to launch this token. Usually Launchpads is also helping you to form your tokenomics and to cover weak sides of the project. So they, in this regard, they quite similar to incubators, but finally they just helping you to allocate and to distribute your tokens in the initial round between people. And after that, usually again, but not always, this token appears on some DEXs, which is decentralized exchanges, which is usually partners of the Launchpad. But yeah, I could speak this, forever, but in common, this is how it works. I hope it's clear now. Oops.
Yeah, thank you. Because also for me, to be honest, it wasn't super clear the difference between all of this. So thanks, Jaden, for asking.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, like that's it for now. I think if you have any questions further, you could just follow this nice dinosaur, and it will bring you to open builders where we could give you any, answer you would like to know. And if you're afraid of dinosaurs, you could reach me out in any social you prefer. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you so much, Sergey. That was a super cool closing sentence. I'm not afraid of dinosaurs. I took a photo, and we'll stay in touch. Thank you so much for the session. And if participants have any other question, they can send them in the chat. If one of you wants to talk to Sergey, more than happy to make groups for you if your team needs support of any kind. And thank you so much for attending.